Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the Elizabeth Macmillan Director of the National Museum of American History, Dr. Anthea M. Hartig. Welcome the Secretary of the Smithsonian Institution, Lonnie G. Bunch III. And a warm welcome to both Miss Gabriela Hurst and Miss Alexandra O'Neill. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the First Lady of the United States of America, Dr. Jill Biden. And now, our ceremony begins with Director Anthea Hartig.
Good afternoon y buenas tardes. Before we begin together, let us pause to gratefully acknowledge the precedents of the Native peoples on whose ancestral homelands we gather today. In the greater Washington, D.C. area, we acknowledge the Piscataway tribe, the Pamunkey tribe, and the Nacostin peoples and their descendants. First Lady, Dr. Jill Biden, Congresswoman Matsui, Secretary Bunch, Ms. Hurst, Ms. O'Neill, gentlewomen and gentlemen. Welcome to your National Museum of American History at the Smithsonian Institution for this very special day. I give my special thanks to the museum's board, especially our vice chair, the Honorable Secretary Barbara Franklin, for their generous donation of time and talent and resources over the years, and particularly today. I also extend my heartfelt thanks to the Manat family, who has had a long and wonderful relationship with the Smithsonian and this museum. Ambassador Charles Chuck Manat was a treasured advisory board member here, and I'm so grateful that Kathy Manat, their daughter Michelle, their family are here to continue to support us, to advocate for us, and to make this day possible. Thank you so much. The First Lady's Collection is one of the most enduring and popular exhibitions at the Smithsonian Institution. Since this museum opened, every First Lady has shared a moment like Dr. Biden is sharing today. So we celebrate the newest additions to the National Collection, the ensembles worn by First Lady Jill Biden on inaugural day and inaugural night. And as you can see, and I'll just pause for a moment to take in their exquisiteness, they are truly beautiful. The tradition of the Smithsonian's First Ladies Collection stretches back for more than a century and continues, of course, today with our modern First Ladies exhibitions, which you'll see shortly. In it, we explore the unofficial but absolutely essential position of the First Lady throughout time and the different ways in which different women have inhabited that role and made it come to life, how they've put their own contributions and poured themselves into this and into the presidential administrations that they have served. And of course, they've served not only the office of the president, but our nation and our world. More than 24 gowns are featured upstairs, including those worn by Jacqueline Kennedy, Laura Bush, Michelle Obama, and Melania Trump. Poignantly, however, these ensembles presented today, taken in with open arms to the National Collection, are a rarity for us. the 2021 inauguration was markedly different from any one in memory. On January 20th, 2021, on the steps of the United States Capitol, Joseph R. Biden was sworn in as the 46th President of these United States. Dr. Jill Biden became the nation's First Lady that day. Just 2 weeks earlier, those very same steps were overcome by a violent insurrection that threatened democracy and this peaceful transference of power. As well, we all remember the year 2020 came to a tumultuous close with the nation grieving from the COVID-19 pandemic and grieving the ongoing effects of structural racism. I think we all remember it was overwhelming. Extreme security precautions that probably had never existed before in an unprecedented global health crisis meant there would be fewer official guests in the President's inauguration. Members of the public were not able to attend. There would be no balls. Although the national tradition of presidential inauguration dates back to 1789 with George Washington, several presidents have had to forego inaugural balls for various reasons. And the last occurrence was, of course, with President Franklin D. Roosevelt in his fourth inaugural in 1945. He had concerts, buffet luncheons, small receptions. It was wartime. Conservation measures and the president's health dictated that, as of course did the decency that the office holds. I'm reminded today, as I think about Dr. Biden, about another amazing First Lady, Eleanor Roosevelt. Her words inspire all of us. Surely, in the light of history, it is more intelligent to hope than to fear, to try rather than not to try. One thing we know beyond a doubt, nothing has ever been achieved by the person who says it can't be done. End quote. So fast forward to January 2021. Once again, a weary nation needed healing, quite literally healing and quite literally peace. The elegance and the understated beauty of Dr. Biden's first inaugural dresses and coats, and for the first time in our history, coordinating matching masks. Exactly. These together captured, I think, the uniqueness of that occasion and that day perfectly. And Dr. Biden, your grace and your confidence reassured and uplifted us in a way that I think a ball gown probably couldn't have done. Thank you so much for being here.
Please welcome the Secretary of the Smithsonian Institution, Lonnie G. Bunch III.
Boy, what a grand and glorious day. It is so wonderful to be here at the National Museum of American History. You know, many years ago, this was my home, and it's always special to come back. So I want to thank my colleagues for all their effort to make this moment a reality. And I especially want to thank the Manat family for their support of today's event. This long-standing Smithsonian tradition holds a special meaning for the Smithsonian and for me. I've been involved in the First Lady's exhibition since Barbara Bush's gown was added to our collection in 1990. Yeah, I'm old. First, I was here as a curator, then as associate director, and now secretary. And I got to tell you, it's been incredible to watch the exhibition grow and change over years, and also to see the role of First Ladies evolve. Remember, this is the first Smithsonian exhibition made by and about women. It predates this museum. It was first installed and housed in the Arts and Industries building. But for more than a century, generations of Americans have come to see a collection of gowns that spans our history as a nation. But this exhibition is and has always been about much more than gowns. In the mid-90s, I oversaw its redesign to better document these women by what they accomplished in addition to what they wore. And of course the dresses remained. But they're here now to tell a story about gender, about power, about public symbolism. They're here to help us remember how Dolly Madison made bipartisan political hosting into an art form, or how Eleanor Roosevelt championed social justice and fairness, and how Jackie Kennedy transformed the public's opinion of the White House. They tell a story about how each of these women navigated the country's most public and yet unscripted job. And make no mistake, being First Lady is a job, not simply a marital status. I thought you'd like that. You know, while not every president has been married and several were widowed, no administration, though, has gone without a First Lady. Despite never being codified, it's become an essential component of the way our government functions. It's a role with no official description or prescribed duties, but instead it became a series of traditions and examples set by women who held the office. Over the course of history, there are some common threads that have held true. Every First Lady is tasked with becoming the nation's hostess. And in doing so, she has created an environment for political negotiations to unfold. She has campaigned. She's taking up a suite of social and educational causes and perpetually managing their own public image, candidly, as well as the president. Beyond that, the First Lady is tasked with both creating and performing these roles. There's no opting out of that. Throughout American history, the public has had a wide-ranging and intense opinions on the roles of women, and certainly on First Ladies in particular. The position has evolved over the years, and it's charted the often volatile swings in public perceptions of gender roles. Today, it's very special. Today, we add Dr. Jill Biden's inaugural attire to the Smithsonian. This donation will certainly characterize Dr. Biden's unique role as a First Lady who dressed not for an inaugural ball, but for a virtual ceremony in the middle of a pandemic. She will be remembered as the first First Lady to keep her day job. And clearly, she is a courageous leader in her own right, as well as an anchoring presence in the Biden administration. Only time will tell how her approach will change the role for those who follow, but I have no doubt it will. It is a great honor to me to commemorate Dr. Biden's tenure in the fascinating and complicated history of the First Lady. It's been a great joy to work alongside of her through both the Obama and the Biden administrations, and it's wonderful to be a part of honoring her legacy today. She is someone I've long admired, and she's a steadfast friend of the Smithsonian and an incredible leader. This donation will allow generations of Americans to understand and celebrate Dr. Biden's service to the nation. I can't thank you all enough for attending this special ceremony, and thank you for being here, Dr. Biden.
Ladies and gentlemen, designer Gabriela Hearst.
It's an honor to be here today for my team and I. I have to pinch myself to believe that the inaugural attire we made will be part of the First Lady's collection. And we have Dr. Biden, our First Lady, to thank for. Thank you so much. I have to look at her. As a designer, I couldn't think of a better muse. You use your platform to service as an educator and also as your diverse role serving our nation. So thank you. This ensemble was made with cashmere, silk organza, and the mask, the coat, and the dress were all embroidered in New York City in our garment district. The flowers showed all the federal flowers of every state and territories of the United States. reflecting on the historical circumstances of the January 6th event and a presidency that was starting with a pandemic, I think for us it was very important to showcase the sophistication and creation that we find in the nature of the United States and respecting our environment in doing so. So thank you so much for this great opportunity.
Ladies and gentlemen, designer Alexandra O'Neill.
It's lovely to be here today. Creating Dr. Biden's dress and coat for the inauguration ceremony was an honor. I am humbled and immeasurably thankful to the First Lady for choosing Markarian for such a momentous occasion. I hope that when people view this addition to the Smithsonian's collection, they will not only remember the inspiring image of Dr. Biden on that day, but they will see the many people that helped create these pieces. Markarian is an American brand conceived in New York City, where we proudly produce our garments in its historic garment center. Without the talent and training of Americans in the garment trade, we as designers would not have the capacity or resources to create. I am fortunate to be surrounded by this system of local artisans that brought the design showcased here to life, and it's imperative that this community continues to be supported for future generations. Dr. Biden not only wore a dress and a coat, but she wore the time and effort of many hardworking people to whom the support and platform is priceless. I want to thank my Markarian team who are here with me today. I am grateful for the Smithsonian for the honor of having our work displayed here. And thank you again, Dr. Biden, for this opportunity for our work to become a part of the fabric of history. Thank you.
And now, please welcome Dr. Jill Biden, the First Lady of the United States.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Alexandra and Gabby. You know, this day is so much more emotional than I ever imagined it to be. You know, and Thea and Lonnie, your commitment to preserving our nation's legacy and making it accessible for all is truly remarkable. And I'm so grateful to the Smithsonian Institution and the National Museum of American History for bringing us all together. I also want to thank the Smithsonian Regent, Congresswoman Doris Matsui, for joining us. Like all of us, my heart is with the people of Doris's home state of California as they try to heal from the pain and violence of the last few days. Clothing is an art and articulation. It's a manifestation of a moment of time. It's history. And today, I'm deeply honored to play a small part in a big moment of our history, alongside two visionary designers. When I first encountered Alexandra O'Neill, she was just getting started, the leader of a young, small team with big ideas. Her design seemed both timeless and new, and that was exactly what I was hoping to find. Because young people showed up and voted for Joe in historic numbers, and I wanted to reflect their passion, creativity, and hope that day. Alexandra, thank you for helping me meet that moment with beauty and boldness. I'm so proud that your work is now memorialized here at the Smithsonian, and I hope that your story inspires other young people to pursue their own design dreams. Then I became friends with Gabriella Hearst after we met at an event for Save the Children when I was chair of the board. Since then, I've had the chance to see her generosity, talent, and commitment to living out her values. She always pushes me to try new things, to step out of my comfort zone. Time and time again, when I think that there's no way that I'm going to like her suggestion, she's right, and I love it. But I didn't need any convincing about the design of this dress. My focus on Inauguration Day was being a First Lady for all Americans, doing my part to bring our country back together. Gabby understood that. So she adorned this dress with flowers from every state and territory. And she placed Delaware, my home, just above my heart. Gabby, thank you for making our vision of a truly united America come to life. I'm so grateful for your talent and for your friendship. Of course, both outfits feature something that will no doubt, as Lonnie said, set them apart from the other displays here at the museum: matching masks. You know, they're just pieces of small cloth, but they represent the enormity of what we all faced at the time. A pandemic that has changed our world forever. Months of closed schools and businesses, a virtual presidential campaign, so much time spent apart. But these masks also represent the moments of courage and kindness that helped us through the worst of it, the strength and the resilience that we found to rebuild and move forward. And of course, I want to thank the Smithsonian for memorializing the history that is sewn into every stitch of these ensembles. I'm also grateful for the team of people who helped me through this process in a time when, we just couldn't fly to New York to do in-person fittings. And finally, I want to thank all of the designers with us today. When I became First Lady, I knew that people would start to care a lot more about what I wore. And there have been times when I've welcomed that spotlight because I knew that my clothes could help me say something important, like when I wore my boat boots on Election Day and my love jacket during our first trip overseas. And then there were the more mundane times when I wore a scrunchie to the bakery and it ended up on the nightly news. But in important moments and everyday ones, I've navigated it all with the help of designs of so many of you here today. So thank you. These two ensembles were a voice for me in one of the most important days of my life. They spoke to the American people then, and now they will continue speaking to generations to come. They will help not only tell my story, but the story of what we as Americans experienced together, of the hope and love and unity that we held on to, and how we let those values guide us forward. In the future, when educators like me bring their classes through the exhibit, I hope that these dresses will help them teach their students about what started on that January day, about how we came together as a nation, rebuilding shoulder to shoulder and heart to heart. I hope they will inspire future generations to learn more about the women behind the dresses. And I look forward to adding some menswear to this gallery in the future as well. This means so much to me, and especially for my family and my friends to be here and my staff to support me. You know, it's been an honor to serve as your First Lady. Thank you.
To conclude the presentation ceremony, please welcome back Dr. Hartig.
Dr. Biden, as the first woman to direct this museum, your National Museum of American History, it is indeed my honor to have you and your remarkable couture joining the incredible collection of the museum. This, of course, is a long-standing tradition that helps us document the impact of women on our lives, on our fashion, on our hearts, and on our minds. We are deeply grateful to be entrusted with these absolutely beautiful inaugural ensembles, and I know how precious they are for you, Dr. Biden, and I think I can say for all of us watching you that day. Be assured that they will be cared for in the same spirit and with the same attention as all of the national treasures, millions of them here in our collections. And speaking of millions, the millions of people from around the world will make them part of their personal journey here. I'm incredibly grateful to my colleagues who have made this donation, its interpretation, its presentation, all of today's ceremony possible. I deeply, deeply thank my incredible colleagues for this beautiful day. So thank you to the Biden family, to Gabriela, to Alexandra, to the Manat family, to all of you for joining us today. I'm going to bring Dr. Biden back up to the stage for some photographs, and then they will be magically, because my staff is magic, they will be magically whisked upstairs to the 3rd floor, and then you too will be conveyed up to the 3rd floor. I left my magic wand at home to see them in their new home here at your museum. So thank you so much for joining us. And as you know, it's not over yet. We're just moving the stage a bit. Thank you.
And ladies and gentlemen, following the photo opportunities, please do remain in your seats or positions while the curatorial team removes the dresses.
I was remiss in not welcoming the press corps. Thank you. Thank you for being here. No, seriously, thank you for getting up at like 6 in the morning, and we appreciate it. You help us tell our stories, so thank you. Yeah, yep. There we go.
Please stay in your seats as the dresses need to be moved into the gallery. We would very much appreciate that our guests stay in their seats. Thank you for allowing us the time to make the magic happen.